We have an amazing presentation next. We have the Google Cloud FinOps Leader Circle, which is going to be a great conversation we've got Bruna from Uber, Courtney from General Mills, Kim from Target, and we're going to get started with Alfonso and Pathik from Google, so please give them a round of applause worthy of 5,000 people right now, everybody. Woo!
All right, let's do a quick exercise. I actually forgot to do something in the morning. So we'll do 3 things. If you want to say yes, you'll just nod your head like this. If you want to say no, you can do like this. And if you don't know, you can just roll it like that. All right? So everyone enjoyed the keynote. All right? All right? I'm getting some yeses and nods. Do anyone think FinOps is easy? We are just making a big fuss about that. All right, all right. And how far is moon in miles? Okay, so you knew that. All right, that's good. But we'll get the next exercise anyways. So welcome to Google Cloud's Leader Circle, where we will be discussing about unlocking secrets from our top FinOps users. My name is Pathik Sharma. I lead cost optimization in our FinOps consulting practice.
And hi, everyone. It's great to be here in San Diego with all of you. I'm Alfonso Hernandez, product manager in Google Cloud FinOps. And I work with an amazing cross-functional team of engineers, designers, and researchers to build the Google Cloud optimization tooling that you find in the billing console. That includes your code analysis, cost recommendations, and of course, FinOps Hub.
All right. So we have a light agenda today. It feels so good to say that because every time I walk into a room, it's always like packed agenda. Alfonso is going to walk us through FinOps Hub and why it exists. Next up, we will have discussions with our top FinOps practitioners who have consistently scored a high Google Cloud FinOps score. We'll corner them until they spill their secrets. And then finally, we will share some reactions from the keynotes. So with that, Alfonso, why don't you tell us a little bit about the inception of FinOps Hub and why it exists?
Absolutely. Thank you, Pathik. And yes, I would love to share the story of how and why we built FinOps Hub. So for us, it started in early 2023. Everyone was feeling it, Pathik. UI, everyone was seeing that macroeconomic conditions deteriorating. There was a lot of uncertainty in the financial markets, and we just knew it, right? Our customers were going to be looking for ways to optimize cost and optimize their cloud. And that's why last year here in FinOps X San Diego 2023, we unveiled the private preview program of FinOps Hub. Fast forward to today, with the amazing support of our customers and the feedback that we received, FinOps Hub is no longer a preview program, but a general available offering for all of our customers. And the best part is that we are just getting started. So let's go to the chase. What is FinOps Hub exactly? What does it do? So I'll walk through some of the key highlights of the solution. So at a very high level, you can think of FinOps Hub as your command center of anything FinOps optimization within Google Cloud. And we provide a lot of different widgets to help customers understand how they are doing in the FinOps journey and their FinOps optimization capabilities. So the first thing we have is an optimization summary where we provide KPI metrics so the customers can understand at a glance how much they can save by removing idle instances, idle resources, right-sizing workloads, and of course, rate optimizing by committing to commitments. On the left, we have another KPI that tells them how much they have been saving by taking action. And all those savings, we hear from customers. Some of them like to optimize by looking one service at a time, and some other customers like to see what is the project where they can optimize or save the most. So we provide those views so they can optimize the way they like. For those who don't know where to start, we provide the top recommendations widget that will highlight the recommendations that will give customers the biggest bang for their buck. That is, the biggest savings with the least effort. And this is just scratching the surface. FinOps Hub is designed to help you run a smarter cloud more efficiently. We have other things like time-sensitive actions, FinOps score, cloud optimization overviews, and more. So finally, just going super quick, the FinOps score is, you can think of it as your credit score, but for cloud. It helps you measure how well you're using Google Cloud's billing tools to monitor, control, and save and automate on your spend. And it's evaluated based on different best practices, behaviors across inform, operate, and optimize. And basically, the way you interpret the score is a high score means that you're using Google Cloud like a pro and benefiting from Google Cloud billing tooling to implement best practices. And a lower score is not something to worry about. It just means that you have untapped opportunities to refine your Google Cloud strategy.
So Alfonso, you mentioned that FinOps score is similar to the credit score. I recently had to improve a lot on my credit score because I had to get the mortgage loan. Now, in order to advance my FinOps practice, I wonder what are the things that I could do to actually improve the score, but also improve the overall FinOps practice within my organization?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pathik, and in fact, it's one that a lot of our customers ask. So we thought that the best way to answer that question was to bring 3 top FinOps Hub users that have stellar scores to share their secret with us. So,
all right, so let's invite Bruna, Courtney, and Kim to join us in this conversation.
thank you, Bruna, Courtney, and Kim for joining us. So to get us started, can you introduce yourself, your FinOps score, and tell us a little bit about your FinOps journey?
Sure. Thank you so much for the invitation, Alfonso and Pathik. It's a pleasure to be here. I have been working with FinOps for almost 5 years now. Specifically for the last two years and a half, I have been supporting Uber as a TPM in the capacity and efficiency management team. Our FinOps Hub score is 4.5. Wow. One of the biggest drivers that got us to that high score is our investment in forecasting, which enabled us to basically shift our FinOps practice to be more proactive instead of reactive. And it gave a lot of capabilities for leadership as well to be more involved in the process. And we are currently working on improving our showback and chargeback capabilities, as you might have seen in the keynote presentation from Chavez and Sarah this morning, to have a better ROI analysis and improve our discussions on how to drive our FinOps forward.
Thank you.
Passing on to Courtney.
Absolutely. Courtney Bormann, and I have the pleasure of leading the FinOps team at General Mills. And our FinOps journey really began about 3 years ago as we were doing our RFP to move our data center onto cloud. So feel super lucky that we've really been able to build FinOps in from day one. And as part of that journey, it's been really critical to us to invest in the foundation of our FinOps capabilities. So making sure, as you think about those 3 different phases of inform, optimize, and operate, that we're getting the building blocks right as we go along. So we've really been focused on that, and I would say one of the keys to our strong score, which is a 4.7 for us with our data center workloads, has been really committed use discounts and investing in the governance of those and the ongoing management of those. So it's been a great journey so far, but definitely excited about lots of future opportunities to keep on improving.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Wier, and I am a FinOps practitioner within Target Corporation. We have been on our FinOps journey for about 2.5, 3 years now. I'm also a member of the TAC along with Courtney, so if you have any questions or comments or things you'd like to see out of the foundation, find somebody with a lanyard that's kind of a dark lanyard color and get your insights to us. It's really important. We're trying to collect kind of user feedback. So at Target, we have been doing both a commercial optimization and compute optimization. And both of those efforts together have been what's resulted in our score. So our score is 5 out of 5, but I'm just kidding because Courtney and I are kind of competitive. Our score is actually only 4.3, so General Mills is doing a great job. Yeah, so we have a score of 4.3, and I think a lot of that comes from doing both of those tracks at the same time, focusing on that.
That's, I love the competitive nature. My follow-up question to you would be like, can you share a detailed example of one of the optimization techniques that have led to such high scores?
Yeah, sure. So when we started our journey, we first had to really wrangle our data. Data is so critical to building a successful FinOps practice. I would say that doing the commercial optimization, going and looking at how much committed use discounts you're utilizing, I really think that is a big part of our success. We have built different models to help us decide when and how to do more committed use discounts. And so our effective committed use discount rate is in the upper 80s, low 90s. So we're really maximizing the compute and the cost as much as we can.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. And yeah, definitely, it seems like the right approach to do both the commercial, the rate optimization, and the compute resource type of optimization, and that partnering with engineering to make sure those things happen. Now, I would like to move to Courtney, and this is an easy question, Courtney. What tools in the Google Cloud FinOps portfolio do you consider essential to maintain or increase your FinOps score?
Yeah, there's 2 tools I'd really highlight that we really rely on through the Google Hub to make sure that we're continuing to advance our FinOps practice. And the first one is the cut analysis. So as part of our ongoing process, we meet each month and really talk about where we have opportunities to maximize committed use discounts, and making sure we're in there looking at the analysis of where we're at today as well as where we have those opportunities. And then after we make the purchase, going back to really check that everything's looking as we expect. So that's a really vital one for helping us manage that optimization. The other thing that's so critical for us is really the BigQuery and making sure, as Kim mentioned, that we're getting that data and that transparency. So being able to bring in our billing information 4 times a day, making sure we can use that for anomaly detection, as well as just the transparency and dashboarding that we do. Those are really the 2 critical things for us, I would say, to keep our FinOps practice moving day to day. So that BigQuery and data ingestion, and then the cut analysis.
So I love how you kind of touched upon the foundational pieces. Now, unlike Alfonso, I don't have any easy questions in my stack. So Bruna, here comes the hard one. How do you use automation with Google Cloud tooling?
So Uber leverages both a mix of GCP tooling and homegrown tooling to achieve greater efficiency. On the GCP side, we highly leverage CUDs for both VMs and Spanner, and we're also looking to expand to more different products on commitments. And the other piece on homegrown tooling, Uber has a really great engineering. One of the ones that I can call out are auto-scaling, automated idle resource deletion, workload and technology collocation, and many others. But I think one of the coolest ones, which has been presented this morning by Sarah, is the automated invoice audit bot that we have. It basically compares the unit costs on the public rate and the private ones as well to identify billing errors in the invoices. And last year alone, we were able to identify across all of the cloud providers a 6.7 discrepancy in errors, which was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, and some serious automation right there, Bruna. I'm thinking we can probably switch gears and talk a little bit about cost optimization. So thinking or reflecting on your FinOps journey, what has been an aha moment that led to significant cost optimization? You have been mentioning some things like the savings based on the differences, but any other aha moment that you have had?
We have had many, and I think we're still going to have a lot more into the future.
Absolutely.
But since we decided to have a bigger footprint on cloud, our biggest aha moment so far has been when we were able to develop our first dynamic and bottoms-up centralized capacity and financial forecasting. It gave a lot of power for leadership to interact with the engineering and finance as well, to be able to have full exposure to all of the controls on the engineering tech stack. So for example, utilization, target percentage, allocation funnel percentages, and basically have control on how to guide the tech stack going forward. And also gave us a lot of higher confidence to increase our commitment coverage, because we were able to see for the next 3 years what was going to be our projected capacity for specific VM families, et cetera. That initiative alone allowed us to have a cost avoidance of around 38% of our long-range projections on cloud.
Thanks, Bruna, for sharing that. I know we have been talking about all of the success that the FinOps team is bringing. And here's a curveball for Courtney. What is some of the ugliness that you may have seen while kind of practicing FinOps so far?
Yeah, absolutely, Pathik. And I think it's so important, right, because we do love to celebrate successes, but also just talking about the challenges, I think, is super insightful. And for us at General Mills, it's a challenge that I would say I think resonates with a lot of companies, and it's really at the top of the heap is, getting engineers to take action for us and to really optimize those workloads that are out there. I would also say this is the area we spend the most time on, right? So I think that's an interesting dichotomy, that you can both put a lot of effort against it, make a lot of progress, which we have done in the last year, and still have that as a really big opportunity. So for me, what's been so critical about that is making sure that we bring the communication and that we bring the visibility. So that's how we've been able to make progress over the last year, is really providing, we've been doing an optimization challenge at General Mills. So we've been getting our engineering teams engaged in that and providing monthly updates on where each of the teams is stacking up, as well as then making sure that we reward the winning team at the end of each quarter. So that's been a fun component, and we've seen our optimizations double. But I would say we still know we're leaving a lot on the branch still. And so we want to be able to go back and really tackle those optimizations. So just continuing to keep it top of mind. And in that spirit of continuous improvement and learning, I'd love to, after this, if you found something super effective for tackling that issue at your company, please come find me. I'd love to hear what's been working well for all of you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. My next question is for Kim. Earlier, Kim, you were talking about the different optimization tracks, two optimization tracks you had at Target, one being the commercial, the other the compute. So if we were to think about KPIs or metrics, what would you say you can use, like thinking about those two tracks, for cost optimization?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think unit economics is one of the most important things that you can figure out for your company. It helps everybody in the company, not just the technology team, not just the finance team, but it helps the business team as well to understand how much the cloud could cost for whatever business you're doing. So at Target, we have a KPI or a unit economic of cloud costs per digital order. And with this metric, we've set a goal to stay under a specific cloud cost per order, so that we can see how efficiently and effectively we're utilizing our resources, how much the cloud is costing per digital order. So all of Target.com is hosted at Google Cloud. And so it's really an important metric. And if we started to have, an upward tick, we would be able to go to our leaders, both in the business and in the technology area, to show them, hey, our cloud costs are really increasing, and that takes away from, from target revenue, stakeholder value, all of that. So that unit economic is really an important thing that everybody can easily understand, and we can, make changes based on the swings up or down.
Thank you for sharing that, Kim. And I think one of the key points that you laid out there is in order to achieve unit metrics or unit economics, right, you need to work and collaborate with so many teams, right, from the application product teams to finance teams to architects teams and so on and so forth. So I guess along those lines, my question to Bruna would be, I guess you're going to sing a song about FinOps? Okay. The song of allocation and optimization? No? All right. Coming back to the script. I think how do you, Bruna, ensure that this is not a one-off activity and rather a continuous discipline within FinOps?
I think it's key for you to think of FinOps like in a structured way. And always try to, on your tooling and processes and the culture as well, try to make it that each part and piece makes sense together. I think it's very hard for you, for example, to go out there and do a forecast and then you have no correlation at all where you can track against actuals, and your actuals and forecasts are not at the same level, so you cannot go back to the teams and discuss what can be improved. At Uber, for example, our forecasting is the main driver and the start of our discussions. So basically, from the forecast, we're able to communicate our capacity needs with the vendors, set KPIs, as Kim mentioned, which are really key for you to be able to track the progress of the team and the overall cloud spend. We're also able to see how many cuts we want to purchase, if we're going to be at risk of over-purchasing the next 3 years or not, et cetera. Yeah, and I think overall, for any team basically to be able to do any change in our forecasting, we go back to the drawing board, we involve leadership, we involve finance and the engineers, and then everyone talks and tries to figure it out what's the best outcome. And we see that reflected by tweaking our forecast and seeing what's going to be the end result. So just making sure that you have a system that you can tune in to find out what's going to be the result of each of the initiatives that are going to happen would be key.
Thank you, Bruna. So as everyone here knows, some people are very advanced in their FinOps journey, some people are starting. So I have just a general question about the implementation of FinOps for you, Courtney. How would you go about aligning the business objectives with the FinOps goals and General Mills, and to help measure the progress you're making?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's two things that we've done at General Mills that have been really effective to marry those things together. And the first one, my advice would be, wherever possible, try and fit your FinOps work into your overall organizational practices. So for instance, at General Mills, we go through an annual budget cycle and monthly budget true-ups, as I'm sure a lot of other organizations do. We fit our cloud cost work right into that process in terms of planning and then budgeting true-ups. So whenever you have that opportunity to take advantage of existing processes and practices that are in place, that both makes it really easy and efficient for your organization to do the right thing, to make sure that their cloud costs are going to be accounted for, budgeted for, and it gives you the chance, right, I think, to make sure that you're spending money on the right things that are truly aligned with the business objectives when those costs have to go head-to-head with other projects and expenses for your company. The second thing that's been really critical for us is just making sure that we have strong communication and leadership engagement. So, each quarter we're sure to pull together our leadership team and to really talk about what's new with FinOps, what's the work that we've been doing with optimization, where do we need their help to push more. And that also gives them the chance to provide us with feedback in terms of what new priorities may be, where they need our attention and focus. And so making sure we've got that really positive communication cycle is so key. So I'd say, really those have been the two things, Alfonso, that are really critical, that strong communication cycle for us and then tying into the business processes to make sure that we are maximizing the value for the organization.
Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. I think we'll switch gears and talk about AI and FinOps. I think it came up a few times during the keynote. So I would love to hear your thoughts, Kim, as to how you are thinking about AI and FinOps within Target.
Yeah, so I think everybody's thinking of that. I think the opportunities are endless. So one of the things JR said, and I wrote it down, is we talk about AI for your FinOps and then also FinOps for your AI. So we're looking at it from both perspectives. So how are we going to leverage AI in our FinOps journey and get those practices built in right at the beginning? So I don't know if you know, but Google has people like Pathik who come out and will help you understand where your maturity is and where your opportunities are from a FinOps perspective. But they've also have this practice for AI. So Target just met with Pathik and his team a couple weeks ago to talk about where Target's at, and then the outcome will be some recommendations for how Target brings in FinOps for our AI, and then, or AI for, yeah, FinOps for our AI. It's so confusing. And then, thinking about AI for your FinOps. So, we all have to balance the cost of doing it versus the value that it delivers. So sometimes when you have these internal operations applications, that balance is a little bit different. But we do plan to put all of our infrastructure details into our models so that engineers can use a GPT and Google and query for, what is my cost, what are my opportunities. That's somewhere in the future. I would say probably not in 2024, but in the future.
Right. So I think piggybacking on that, Courtney, how would AI change, if any, your FinOps practices within General Mills?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of excitement, as several individuals have said, around AI, and it's going to be really powerful, and I think we're just starting to see the tip of that iceberg at General Mills. So a couple of key areas that we've really been investing in AI already for our FinOps practice is around anomaly detection. We also have budget alerting and forecasting that we're working on. So I think there's a lot of great AI tooling out there, right, to support you and to help you automate your FinOps workloads and make them that much more efficient and in real-time, timely notifications for your team. But also, like Kim said, we are starting, more of the generative AI areas at General Mills as well. And so making sure that we build those controls and guardrails in from the start, that we have good FinOps practices for this new developing area is so critical for success, because while the spend is small now, we know that it'll really be on that steep ramp-up curve here in the future. So we want to make sure that we get those built in from the ground floor. But lots of excitement, and agree with the panelist that was on here before. It's great job security, right? I don't think any of us are going to be bored in the future.
Absolutely. How do you react to that, Bruna?
Yeah, I think Gen AI overall and the high demand at the moment is probably going to create a new trend in FinOps on how to balance capacity safety with cost optimization as well. So for example, imagine big growth for tooling, like the ones from GCP on GCP reservations and GCP future reservations, for you to be able to, primarily for the self-hosted Gen AI solutions, for you to be able to acquire GPU capacity ahead of time, and how you're going to be able to balance that with how much goods you're going to buy, et cetera, and how much certainty you want to have on having that capacity on hand when needed.
Very cool. I love the different use cases of AI that you all have kind of mentioned. I think the opportunities are limitless. I think it's about applying the right tool at the right place in terms of the capability, and I think that is what personally excites me the most.
Thank you, Pathik, and thank you for the panel. We are not closing, but I want to just summarize a little bit of everything we have covered so far. We started understanding the journey of these three amazing companies. From their FinOps score, we went to cost optimization, moved to implementing FinOps, and we are the topic of the year, AI. So now, with 5 minutes left, I would like to just finally switch gears to understand or reflect a little bit on the amazing keynote we just had and see if there's any particular topic that resonated with you and how you may be implementing or thinking about those areas in your company. So I'll start with you, Kim.
Yeah, so the keynote was awesome. I loved every single presentation. One of the things that JR talked about was, and again, I wrote it down because I can't remember, but FinOps beyond public cloud. So this has been a thread that's been brewing, at least within the TAC conversations. Should FinOps extend beyond the public clouds? And so it's really good to see that that the organization is thinking that we need to pull all of these things together. It's not just about the public clouds. Personally, at Target, we have been focused for the last year on doing more than our public cloud FinOps. So we've been diving deep into our on-prem data. Target has a very substantial and well-created, developed private cloud. And then we have some legacy infrastructure. So we're understanding all of the costs that have gone into our on-prem infrastructure, as well as continuing to maintain our FinOps practice for the public cloud. And so that bullet that JR talked about really resonated well with me, and I'm glad that we're headed in that direction because I know we're not alone.
Thank you. Courtney, going to you next.
Yeah, I loved, the discussion around really FinOps being everyone's job. I think that's just a good perspective, right, to carry with all of us out of here. All of us are really passionate about FinOps and, we breathe it each and every day, but there's a lot of people in our organizations that have competing demands and where FinOps may not be their top priority. And so I think coming back energized from the conference and really thinking about how can we be engaging all those different personas to drive FinOps forward and keep that excitement level really high at our organizations is, a critical takeaway to continuing success in the future.
Thank you, Courtney. Finally, Bruna.
I think from JR's keynote as well, we resonate a lot with there are no runners. We at Uber, for example, we have the very cool audit invoice bot, which is pretty cool and really advanced. But at the same time, we still have a long way to go on many of the key crucial processes on containing actuals and controlling and setting limits, and while still also giving elasticity to the teams and all of that stuff. So yeah, I think everyone still has a lot to improve. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bruna. And a curveball for you, Pathik. What's your takeaway from that keynote?
I would say all of the themes resonated pretty well with me. One that particularly stood out was the theme of AI and FinOps, and specifically focusing on AI for FinOps. I think if applied thoughtfully, AI can give superpowers to all of the FinOps practitioners. And I really love the slide about FinOps Assemble. And I think truly, when applied in the right capacity, from visibility to allocation to identifying anomalies or even forecasting, I think there are areas where AI and machine learning can be applied. I think that would be pretty exciting to see where practitioners are using AI in a year from now, 2 years from now. Mm-hmm. Let me actually ask you, Alfonso, what do you think about, what is one of the key takeaways? And you cannot pick the one that was already picked.
I cannot pick any of those? Okay. No, but for me, one thread that I've been hearing a lot when I talk to customers, Google Cloud customers, is how sustainability is becoming more intertwined with FinOps, and how you're thinking about removing waste. That has an impact to your carbon footprint, and how may you go about measuring it. In many companies, these functions kind of sit in the FinOps organization, and there's reporting needs. And so I think more and more we will see that thread coming in. So that was pretty interesting to me.
Awesome. All right, so I think with that, we'll wrap up the session. I want to thank Bruna, Courtney, and Kim for being incredible partners and sharing your journey. I think it's your valuable feedback that continuously help us build that feedback into the product as well as in our solutions. So we have a few things coming up. We have a AI-powered FinOps demo. Scan the QR code if you want to learn more. Courtney and Kim is in action tomorrow. They have a chalk talk about Framework 2024, so definitely attend that. And then we have another session from Google Cloud product team, engineering team, and UX team. They are hosting a user group. So if you are using Google Cloud or are planning on using it, I would definitely check that out as well. All right, with that said, thank you all and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks for watching. Check out more FinOps X 2024 content on our YouTube channel on the 2024 playlist. Support our channel by liking, subscribing, clicking the notification bell, and by leaving comments and questions for our speakers. We appreciate your support.